I think we will go ahead and get started. So Tuesday morning, we're going to start with a little bit smaller muscle groups. We're going to start with our wrists and our fingers, all the little joints. So what we're going to do this sideways. All you're going to do is press away, so your palm towards the ground, all right? And then you're going to pull, kind of like you're pulling something up. So you're going to kind of squeeze your fingers together, trying to flex your wrists as much as possible, and then you're going to inverse that. So you're going to spread those fingers out as wide as you can, try to pull your fingertips back towards your shoulder to extend that wrist. And we're just going to hold that for a few seconds and reverse. And we're going to pull those all together and then push away. So we're just going to focus on one at a time here, just so our focus is very specific. I don't know if you have to write a big paper today, but might be a good one for you. All right, so we're going to go one more time on this side. Hopefully you start to feel those flexors and those extensors in that forearm start to loosen up. All right, we're going to go to the other side, pushing that away. All right, again, try to pull those fingertips back towards you, and then pulling up, squeezing those fingers together. And again, just looking for a few second hold at the top and the bottom each way. So we're going to really easy into it this morning. I'm going to go one more time, pushing away and pulling together. All right, we're going to add kind of an extra step onto this. So at the bottom now, instead of pushing here, we're just going to do a little bit of rotation. All right, so we're still kind of spreading those fingers out, pushing down away. And what we're going to do to roll up, we're going to roll that wrist in and roll that elbow in. So you're going to try to pretty much touch the inside of your shoulder here. So we're getting a little wrist and elbow flexion and extension. So similar to what we just did, down a little bit of rotation through that forearm as well. Again, I'm just going to focus on one arm here. And this one can be a little bit more dynamic. You don't have to hold each position quite as long. Just a little bit more range of motion and a little bit more blood flow as you go through. Two more times here. And we'll flip to the other side. Same situation, right? Instead of pushing away, give me a little rotation, fingers kind of towards the back, and then rolling that up nice and tight. I'm getting some blood through that elbow, which we don't get a lot of focus on either. Go one more here. All right. You may feel that in that forearms, those muscles you don't quite get a whole lot of work in. Great for kind of some grip strength exercises there. Grip strength has always been a great measurement of relative overall health as you age. So work through that, work on that grip strength. Make sure you can open those pickle jars. All right. Next, we're going to go for some finger, more wrist stretches. So you're going to put each of those fingertips together. Nice little prayer hands here. You're going to push the butts of your hand down towards the ground. You're going to try to keep those palms together and push that down as far as you can. So those fingers should be kind of pressing into each other. Again, pushing those palms together should get a nice stretch through the front of your wrist. And then all you're going to do is rotate those hands all the way around. All right, so now your fingertips are pointing down, and you're going to pull that up as high as you can in the same way. All right, so you're going to hold that for about 5 seconds, rotate, and go back again. I want you, again, think about pushing each of those fingertips towards one another. In this next round, we're going to focus a little bit more on those fingertips. So we're going to go ahead and let those palms come away from each other as we push it down, just a little bit, just to put a little bit more stretch on those fingertips. So you're just pushing those fingers fully in contact with one another down. Hold that for a few seconds, rotate over, and then same thing on the way up. So you can let the bottoms of those palms come apart just a little bit. Just put a little bit more stretch into those fingertips, or into those fingers. And the last one coming in here. All right. So feeling pretty loose, feeling pretty good there. I sure hope so. We're gonna move on to our hips a little bit. All right, so we got all those little muscles in those wrists and those elbows, those fingers. So let's go to the big muscles that we all could use some more work on, right? So we're gonna get into our nice 90-90 position. We're gonna take it easy here to get into it, and then we'll kind of step things up, get you ready for your day. So knees, your ankles, both knees, both ankles at 90 degrees. Whatever knee is out in front, we're gonna turn that chest to look straight out across that knee. We're gonna get a nice gentle hinge going forward over that front knee. So I want you to think about your chest being pulled forward. We're not being pulled down, right? We're being pulled forward, leaning into it. So you should feel a nice stretch through your glutes on that top side. If you notice I have my hand down, that is totally fine. If you need that extra support, if not, you can certainly take that hand up, be a little bit more active in that stretch. So we're just going to hang out here for about 30 seconds, a little longer stretch here. And as we get deeper into our stretching this morning, we'll move towards more and more dynamic, away from that static stretching. But I think it's nice to kind of gradually build ourselves up to it. Nothing like a good long stretch first thing in the morning. You may feel that glutes start to loosen up a little bit as you hold. I want you to just kind of work to keep extending that range. So once it loosens up, kind of move into that new range of motion and then hold again. Go ahead and relax there. We're going to come up out of that. That support hand, we're going to take a little bit farther out. So we're going to still get that lean forward, but this time I want you to working that weave through that support hand, come back up. So a nice little just reaching through that triangle you've created through your arm and your body, and just getting some repetitions through here. So we're still kind of pushing that chest forward out over that knee, and that's kind of initiating that reach through. So a little bit of thoracic rotation here. I'm going to go one more reach and hold this one. A little bit deeper in the glute there. And go ahead and relax. We're going to go ahead and switch all the way over to the other side. We're going to pretty much just rinse and repeat that. So knee out forward, or reach that chest out over that knee. I want you to think about that head being pulled to the ceiling as well, elongating through that spine, reaching that chest out over that knee, trying to keep it good straight back. If we're getting a little bit rounded here, we're not quite getting what we need to out of the stretch. So now this is going to be our longer hold here, shooting for about 30 seconds. Just try to relax into it. And release some of that tension that we may be holding in those quads or in those glutes. And we're going to ease up out of that. We're going to take that support hand a little bit farther out. We're going to get that reach going forward, and that other hand is going to thread through that down hand. I'm going to start those rotations. Make sure you exhale as you reach. Let go of that space in that chest and that abdomen that's holding air, preventing our rotation. Nice easy reach. Again, hopefully getting a little bit deeper each time. Working to try to move with that breath. There we go, one more time, reach and hold. And come up out of that. All right. We're going to flip things over to our hands and knees. We're going to do some more hip rotations here, a little bit more dynamic. So pick a knee, whichever knee you'd like. What we're going to do is we're going to open that knee out 90 degrees, like you're a dog on a fire hydrant. And then you're just going to extend that leg back. All right, kick that heel through that back wall, and then pull that knee back underneath. So we're going to try to maintain balance on the 3 points here, so keeping that knee up off the ground if you can. We're just going to do 5 rotations each side. So we're going to open that up, hold for a second, extend that back, hold for a second, and back underneath. So again, we're looking to get as much mobility through that hip as we can. 2 more here. All right, once you get those 5, you can bring that knee down. We'll go to the other side here. Open that knee out, kick that back, and bring it up underneath. Doing our best to keep our core engaged here. It's a great way to help wake you up, get that nervous system firing, a little balance work. Yeah, if you need to take a little bit longer in either of these positions, please do that. You can always add a couple of reps or subtract a couple of reps as you need as well. And the last one, number 5. And we'll bring that down. All right, we're slowly making our way up. We're going to come down to a standing position. So we're going to get those feet about shoulder width apart. We're going to work to slowly lower ourselves down into a squat. Maybe a little early, may not really be feeling it, so we'll kind of slow it down, just getting a little bit deeper each time. And we'll stand back up. Just get some blood flow through that lower body. And if you can, on this next one, squat down into a nice, good, deep squat, wherever that may be for you. We're going to grab those big toes. We're going to extend those hips upwards. Nice little hamstring, deep squat stretch. So we're just going to alternate between these 2 positions here for about a minute. Just working those knees to extend, those hamstrings to extend. And squat back down, trying to open that chest up. Again, if your full depth doesn't quite look like here, if it's more here, that's fine as well. All right, you can grab those shins as you need. But just looking to kind of get into almost a passive squat. So we're not fully engaged in those quads. We're focused a little bit more on the flexibility of our hips. And again, this is not quite where you are. It might be a good goal to shoot for as we go through morning mobility in the weeks and months ahead. Just focus on opening up those hips so you can get to that comfortable deep squat, deep sit position. To our last one here. Bring those hips up. And we're just gonna roll that up nice and easy. All right. So moving on. So some more standing work. We're gonna take those feet even wider apart. Good long side lunge here. All right. So we're gonna ease into one leg. We're just gonna come up and across to the other. So just working a little bit of mobility through the inner hip. All right, again, to improve that deep squat position. Those toes can be pointed out just a little bit. Ideally, we'd like them straight ahead, but maybe we're not quite there. That's totally fine. But just make sure they're not totally, what do you call that in ballet? Plie. There you go. That's what it is. So just easing ourselves down, trying to focus on pushing that opposite hip towards that heel. And this next round, so I'm leaning into my right leg. I'm going to reach with my left leg or left hand towards the ground and open that right hand towards the ceiling. Just a quick rep, and we'll alternate there. Lunge over, inside hand down, outside hand to the ceiling. A little bit more of that thoracic rotation. So we're just going to do 3 each side here. And try and breathe through this. Last one. All right. So moving on to the next one. Again, we're kind of stepping you up, getting ready for your day. We're going to go to what we call ape squats. Okay, so focus a little bit more on ankle flexibility. All right, and still working on those hips that we talked about. So what we're going to ideally look like is we're going to squat like we never say, on your toes. All right, we're going to work to find that balance a little bit. All right, so you're going to kind of get into this kind of deep squat position where you're kind of sitting on your heels and you're on your toes. All right, so we're going to go, try to go for a few reps. We're not going to kill you on this one. You may have to adjust the feet position as needed, but we're pretty much going to squat down on those toes, stretch out the bottom of our feet while we do that, and come back up. If you do have shoes on, I highly recommend taking them off, as this is like I said, a great foot exercise. And if you want to, we can add some chest expansions into that squat as well. And just bring those arms apart, reaching for opposing sides of the room. Sitting nice and tall. Let's go last one here. And relax there. All right, and then we've got one more to send you out with. We're going to do some high kicks. All right, so now we're pretty loose in those hips, hopefully. So we're just taking one leg. We're going to kick that up as high as we can, try and get those toes to our fingertips. A little much more dynamic through those glutes and hamstrings that we spent some time stretching out. And just a good energizer, ready to kick today in the face, right? So we're just going to go a few more of these each side, trying to bring that heel up high. All right, 2 more each side. All right, and there we have it. Thanks for joining me for Morning Mobility. I'm Coach Matt. We'll be back today at 11:15 for some Unravel.